Hello all saints, the Lord be with you. Well, this is Easter week, a happy time, well, mostly a happy time I suppose. But Easter answers one of the great problems of the human race, one of the things that humans have been unable to do anything about. There are some things that we haven't yet mastered, some things we haven't yet worked out how to control, and the biggest of them is death. Death affects everybody, and with COVID all around the world, I guess we've seen much more clearly than before how everyone is subject to death. Everyone dies, whether it's from a virus or some other reason. Death comes to all of us. Death is one of the great things that takes away everything that is glorious in a human. There is no glory in death. Death is a horrible thing, even though sometimes we try to make the dead body look better at the funeral. We know that it isn't. Whatever was left of the glory of God has been taken completely away by death. And we are right to be grieved and sad, not only at the death of people we know, people we love, but at the death of any human being. God himself is greatly grieved by death and has gone to great lengths to do something about it. And Easter, of course, with the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ, is the answer not only to the great human problem, but the answer to a promise made a long time ago by the prophet Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 25, he says this, "On this mountain the Lord Almighty will prepare a feast of rich food for all peoples, a banquet of aged wine, the best of meats and the finest of wines. On this mountain he will destroy the shroud that enfolds all peoples, the sheet that covers all nations. He will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away every tear from all faces. He will remove his people's disgrace from all the earth. The Lord has spoken." Death is like that great funeral sheet that covers the whole earth, all of the peoples, all of the nations, all of the different language groups. And it's that God is going to remove, has removed in the death of Jesus. Swallow up death forever. Paul talks about it in 1 Corinthians 15. He talks that death has come through a man, Adam, but the resurrection of the dead comes also through a man, the Lord Jesus Christ. First of all, Christ, and then those who belong to him. When he comes, he'll raise them to be with him. And that will be the end. And then the last enemy to be destroyed, he says, is death. Death will be swallowed up in the victory of Christ. And those who belong to Christ will be taken with him to share his glory, to share the image of the Son of God. That's a great hope. That's a great thing to encourage one another with. But there's another thing in Isaiah. At the end of the passage that I read from Isaiah 25, there's this remarkable statement that God himself will wipe away every tear from their eye. And it's picked up in the book of Revelation, chapter 7, where it talks about the Lamb who's in the middle of the throne will be their shepherd and lead them to springs of living water. And God himself will wipe away all the tears from their eyes. I think that's a remarkable image, isn't it? That God himself would go around to every individual, wiping their tears away. Because God himself wants us to be freed from death. And God himself has gone to great lengths so that the humans who now are mortal might find bodies that are immortal in the resurrection. That we who have bodies that will perish will find ourselves in the resurrection of Jesus with bodies that are imperishable, sharing the very image of Christ himself. That is a great hope to encourage one another, and it is a great hope for ourselves as we face our own death, to know that death is not the end, but the end of death has been done by the resurrection of Jesus. So in the meantime, as Paul finishes in 1 Corinthians 15, nothing is wasted. Whatever you're doing for the Lord will find its fruit in eternity. The death is not the end. A new life with the resurrection of the Lord Jesus allows us to share in the life of God in bodies appropriate for eternity, sharing the very image of God's Son himself. That is a wonderful hope and a great answer to the great problem that humans are unable to solve.